Easter greetings to all those who celebrate this feast today, and welcome also to Arm Wrestling with COVID-19 in London, number 11. Today, I would like to take you to Ramallah, a town some 20 miles north of Jerusalem. And I would like to take you there on an Easter Sunday in the mid-1960s. Yes, younger generations, the 1960s. And why are we going back to an Easter Sunday in the 1960s when I was barely out of diapers? The reason being that we were then, and I remember this clearly, going through a cholera epidemic, just like we are going nowadays through a COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, the realities in the 1960s, when I was barely a kid, were different from those today. The technology was different, the medical facilities were different, but the fear was the same. The shops were closed. The schools were not functioning properly. The churches had shut their doors. So on Easter Sunday, I remember that Dad and Mom and I could not go to church. In fact, what we did is we had that famous transistor radios for the older generation that we listened to the Mass on the radio. And then, what did we do? We did what a lot of people are doing today. We stayed in or we went into our gardens, had our Easter lunch, laughed a bit, talked a bit, and then we got on with our daily lives. Uncanny that suddenly this came to my mind after so many years. Cholera then and coronavirus today. We overcame it then, even though we didn't have the technology as we do today, and I'm sure that we will overcome it now again too. Then it was a question of coming together, trying to help each other, communities, neighbors, support groups, volunteers. The same thing is happening now, but probably in a more sophisticated way, because in the mid-1960s, there weren't mobile phones, there were no computers or iPads, we couldn't use an internet, all we had was the traditional blower, the telephone, and that was how we communicated with each other. So, first of all, what does this mean to me today? Today, it means to me that the pandemic we're facing today is a global one. In other words, it's not America first, or Germany and Holland first, or the UK first, or it's African, no, it's Asian. It's a global pandemic, and we should work together in order to overcome it. And the second thing I would say today, just like I probably thought, or even if I didn't, my mom and dad would have done so in the mid-60s, is that we have to have hope that we will overcome this pandemic. And what better day for that hope to be rebooted, recycled, reinvigorated than on an Easter Sunday. So yes, this is a global pandemic, to be faced globally and with large doses of hope. And let me leave you, even though I digress a bit, let me leave you with a scriptural verse which is one of my favorite verses and applies quite clearly to Easter. O death, where is thy sting? O death, where is thy victory? In the messages today, whether by Pope Francis at the Vatican or by the Archbishop of Canterbury at Lambeth, everybody was talking about hope and about coming together and overcoming this pandemic. Yes, In that town in Ramallah in Jordan, there was a cholera. We overcame it. Today, in the UK and elsewhere, there is the coronavirus, and we will overcome it too. Happy Easter to you all.